lot about Afro culture in Colombia recently, and I've been hearing a lot of, we're not black, we're Colombian.
Hi there, my name is Ray Condor. I'm a fellow YouTuber, amateur TikToker, amateur YouTuber. I have a channel for people who want to go to Colombia. I usually tend to fight against passport bros who fly down to Colombia, to beat the women, to hit the women, to delete the women, to boink little kids, whether they be black or white. But yeah, I just want to make some responses to your video. I agree with some of the things that you said, not so much in the others. And I just want to take a small time to reply.
Do non-black people in other countries know that you can have anti-black racism even if you didn't have Jim Crow?
Well, yes, non-black people in other countries like Colombia do know that you can have anti-black racism without having Jim Crow laws. You want to know why? My cousins are sociologists in Colombia. My cousins are anthropologists in Colombia. My cousins are psychologists in Colombia. They're social care workers. They have gone to the Afro-Colombian communities and have also gone to the indigenous communities to help them out, to help the people who are the most impoverished, the people who have the least help from the government. Have even gone to other countries like Brazil. My cousins are feminists. My cousins are very well educated. So yes, non-black people in Colombia do know.
I've been noticing this a lot. Every time I bring up racism in a country, the non-black people in that country are like, that's a United States issue. Don't bring that United States stuff here.
Correction, I have seen other YouTubers talk about the same situation, except they were complaining that the Latinos, the black Latinos, the Afro Latinos were saying, don't bring the stuff here because we don't see it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, okay? Don't run off my words. Don't say that I'm a racist because I'm not saying that, okay? I'm saying that it does exist, but I have seen black Latinos say, don't bring the stuff here and it doesn't exist. And I even see other YouTubers like you complain about it.
And mind you, there will be black people in the comments like, yes, girl, you're right. But other people will be so convinced that this is a United States problem. Meanwhile, they're using the same colorblind and or ignorant talking points that they use here in the United States.
You mean the same ignorant talking point that anybody who's non-black automatically is not going to understand how racism is? Or if you are a Latino or a Colombian who is light-skinned, who is not black, who's not Afro-Colombian in Colombia, automatically doesn't understand that racism exists in Colombia? Yeah, okay, That is a common tactic that I have seen used by Americans, both black and white, coming to other people's nations, like Colombia, for example.
To say that there's no racism. The dog doesn't get it either. For instance, I've been posting a lot about Afro culture in Colombia recently.
What a coincidence. I have been posting about Afro-Colombian culture in Colombia also, ever since the longest.
How about instead of hanging around white ass workers and brothels, you go to like the Afro-Colombian festival like black American women do and show our culture? But no, you don't want to do that. You want to hang around parquilleras all day. And a chocoano to save your life. So don't dictate to me what racism is in Colombia. And you know who's defending Colombia? Do you know who's defending the black Colombian? Black American women. Black American women are going to Colombia for real travel. They show our culture. They visit the Afro-Colombian communities. You guys don't. I have not seen you guys do it. They go to Palenque, which is a city of freed slaves that still speak a form of Bantu, an African dialect. I have been to the Pacific coast where you have a different type of black people from a different type of Africa called the Maroons in the Pacific Islands. Hidden away. Have you? No, you have not. You like to hang out with those white Colombians, have you? You like to go to parquilleras. You like to go to the brothels. You like to go to the strip bars. You don't go visit these people's families. You don't even know their mothers. You don't do anything that is cultural. But yeah, you want to tell me that I'm racist? Nah, we're not putting up with that.
And I've been hearing a lot of, we're not black, we're Colombian, or we can't be racist.
In the same way that Dominicans will tell you that they're not black, that they're Dominican, when you have these tourists, these foreigners that go into the country say, you're not Dominican, you're black. All right. I'm going to let her speak first, and then I'm going to get to my portion, because this is the meat of the meat and potatoes I wanted to talk about.
Behind, I'm not black, I'm Dominican. It's been an ongoing joke like, oh, Dominicans do not claim to be black because their color is. It is true that the Dominican Republic and many Dominican people suffer from colorism. But let me tell you the meaning behind that phrase, I'm not black, I'm Dominican. When many Dominicans move to the United States, usually, we get asked where are we from. And the people that get asked that specific question are usually Dominicans that look my skin's color. When you ask someone from Latin America, we usually don't respond with race, because I think it's pretty obvious. When you ask someone from Latin America, where are you from, we usually say our country. So in case somebody asks me, oh, where are you from? My case, I will say I'm from Argentina and I'm from Dominican Republic also. But usually when people ask that question, it's with a second-handed, backhanded, racism behind it.
I know you're sitting here wondering, why is this demilitated guy telling me what racism is in Colombia or not when I experience it? Look, I'm not defending racism, but I'm going to tell you something that you're not going to see coming, all right? And this is a form of reverse racism in a different way. So I practice Chinese martial arts. I practice Kung Fu. My teacher's Chinese. He was raised in the Bronx. He's a much older man. His wife is New York Rican. And for the people who don't know what New York Ricans are, they're people of Puerto Rican descent that were raised in New York City. Basically, New Yorkers that speak Spanish because their parents were from somewhere else. So when I went to their house, they told me that they were taking salsa lessons and they were taking Argentine tango. And I said, hey, did you know that the Argentine tango comes from African slaves in Argentina? They paused and they gave me a strange look. I said, yeah, what happened was that after World War II, the Germans, the Nazis, and also the Italians and lots of Jews escaped to Argentina. And when they arrived, those people that were coming in, the Italians and the Germans, they changed the Argentinian tango. So it's different than what it was before. And then I also told him, I said, the national music of my country, the national dance, cumbia, actually comes from West Africa, from Ghana. But when it came to Colombia, it combined with the indigenous peoples, and it also combined with the European elements to create a form of cumbia, which is different. So she pauses and she looks at me and she says, that's fine, but you need to stop trying to pretend to be black. And I said, what? I am Colombian. She says, but you're white. I said, no, I'm not white. I'm Colombian. She says, but you look white. I said, no, I'm Colombian. And then she pauses and closes her eyes. She goes, well, I bet your birth certificate says you're Caucasian. I said, no, my birth certificate does not say I'm Caucasian. My birth certificate says I'm Colombian. There's no place for race on there. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. And that's what we're trying to tell you is, for us Latinos who identify with nationality first, not with skin color, I know that I'm not light-skinned. I mean, I know that I'm not black. I know that, but in this country, I'm not considered white. And just because I have a certain phenotype that I share with other people doesn't mean I owe them any loyalty. That's the whole point.
Our vice president is black. What about that vice president? As soon as she does something y'all don't like, you're throwing racial slurs at her, so... And the vice president of the United States is black, but y'all have no problem saying we have racism here?
No, we're not. That's an unfounded lie created by you. Let me tell you something. The reason why a lot of people that are against her is because she's aligned with a political party that is Marxist. We are in a state of a civil war. I'm not sure if you noticed that. And the current president, he used to belong to a terrorist group, and she's aligned with him. I have family members that support her and him, but that's the reason why I don't like her. Granted, there are some people who are racist, but come on. Your country never accepted Barack Obama on the simple fact that he's black, and we celebrate Afro-Colombian Heritage Day.
If you are not black, indigenous, any other sort of marginalized ethnic and or racial group within a country, don't speak on their behalf.
You got jokes. You seem to forget that Colombian society is so mixed that we're like a bag of genetic Skittles. One family member can be one black and the other one could be white, and they could be brother and sister. So don't give me none of that. If you were to see my grandma, she looks Native American. My cousins are fourth generation Chinese Colombian. My cousin's Afro-Colombian. I got friends from the coast who are Middle Eastern descent. So no, don't give me that. Because telling people they cannot bring an opinion to the table because they don't have the right phenotype is basically a North American institution, an racialized institution. I'm sorry.
Definitely don't try to deny the existence of a system, an oppressive system that does not affect you.
Learn it. You getting money in America? This isn't you getting money in America. Learn English. I don't give a fuck. Learn it. Learn it. You riding on the roads? Learn English. Learn English. Learn English. Learn English. This ain't your fucking country. This ain't your fucking country. Learn English. Learn English. This ain't your fucking country. What's wrong with you? Fuck wrong with you, boy? You better learn English. Hey. Learn English.
And I know what it's like to live in your country, but I sure do know what it's like to be black, and I know what it's like to be black in your country whenever I visit it. Now, to visit somewhere and to live there are two very different things, but when it comes to anti-black racism, the origins of your blackness matter very little. Racism be like, anybody could get these hands.